Teka. So again, good afternoon, Rowella, and welcome to our 12 noon session. So for this time, we are going back.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. So we're going, yeah, kumusta?
Okay ra, ma'am.
Okay, so last time we discussed about potato, and now we're going to proceed with our lesson 9, which is snap bean production. So, and later I'm going to present to you a video presentation from YouTube on this snap bean or Physiolus vulgaris production, and it's also popularly called as Baguio bean, habichuelas, or French bean, or green bean, string bean, kidney bean, and haricot bean. And as you can see, it is also one of the most widely cultivated vegetable legumes in the Philippines. No, it's even my favorite. So ang term na snap actually pertains to the manner by which the young pods are used as vegetable. Kaya snapping them to smaller pieces, kaya tinawag siyang snap beans. It also refers to the lower fiber content of in snap bean pods compared to the dry bean pods, which are tougher and grown only for the dry seeds. So there are two types of snap beans grown in the Cordillera. We have the pole type, no, and which is more preferred by the farmers in Benguet, and the bush type, which is preferred by farmers in the Mountain Province and Ifugao. So snap bean is actually grown for over 3,000 hectares sa Benguet Province by about 13,000 farmers, no? According to our statistics as of 2006. So as you can see, we have a lot of uses and nutritional value for the young spud of snap beans. It can be steamed actually, sauteed, buttered, or cooked along with other vegetables like pakbet, no? Or adobo. So each 100 grams edible portion contains 90 grams water, 36 energy in kilocalories. So you can say that this is really good for diet. So it has a little about protein, fat, and very little fat, carbohydrates also, and 1 gram fiber, ash, calcium, phosphorus. It's higher in calcium and phosphorus, but low in iron and higher in vitamin A, lower in thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, but in ascorbic acid, it's high. No? So there are a lot of varieties. We have the Baguio beans, the Alno or Black Valentine, the Norman, the stringless Blue Lake, Papi, Kaki, or Kanaya, and these are the pole types of varieties, and the bush type varieties are the bush, Blue Lake, the Labrador, and the Matador. So we also have, still under the pole type, are the Red Fork, Burik, Jemmy, Black Kentucky, Black Gander, Kentucky Gander, and Mayabong, B21, and Taichung. So we can actually grow snap beans best at in medium to high elevation areas or temperatures of 18 to 29 degrees Celsius. And it can also be grown in low elevation areas during the cool or dry months. But the yield tends to be lower and the pods are more fibrous, and temperatures above 32 degrees cause blossom and drop and deform pods. So planting is usually done during October and November para ma-achieve yung higher percentage ng pod set. And but it thrives best in a well-drained clay loam soil or rich in organic matter with pH ranging from 5.5 to 7.5. So for the land preparation, lang ha. So for the land preparation, we have to again plow and harrow the area 2 to 3 times. We have single row planting by making furrows at 0.7 to 1 meter apart. For double row planting naman, you can make 1 meter wide and 0.2 meter high raised beds. So you have to dig shallow holes about 0.3 meter between hills and mix well decomposed animal manure or complete fertilizer during bed preparation para fertilizer ng ating snap beans. So you can also use mulch, no? Plastic mulch to suppress weeds and conserve soil moisture. So makikita nyo mamaya in the video presentation. So after making the raised beds and incorporating manure, you can apply plastic mulch with silver side up para ma-ensure yung plastic is well stretched, and apply the hotter part of the day kasi and then secure the ends of the sides with soil para mas siya dili basa, so dili slide or whatever. And make holes 30 to 50 centimeter apart using heated tin cans, and the plastic mulch can be used for about 4 croppings without being removed from the plot. So that actually saves a lot of time and labor. So in 1 hectare snap beans, it requires only 40 kilogram seeds for the pole type and batch type. So after ka mag-basal fertilizer at organic, no, and inorganic fertilizer, direct planting ka or sowing 2 to 3 seeds per hill at a distance of 30 by 30 centimeter between hills. And then you have to cover lightly with soil and apply mulch using grass clippings to rice straw. If plastic mulch will be used, directly sow 2 to 3 seeds per hole and cover lightly with soil. So, and most importantly, you have to do the trellis, no? For the pole type snap beans, mag-construct ka ng A-type or fence-type trellis using bamboo sticks, rono, or wire number 16, or abaca or plastic twine before siya mag-vine development. Okay, for the fertilization naman, okay, for the fertilization, the general recommendation is 135 kilogram of phosphorus and 135 kilogram of nitrogen as well, and also 112 kilogram of potassium. So proper fertilization is always should be based on soil analysis. Kasi hindi tawag doon, hindi pare-pareho ang soil, so you have to base it on actual soil analysis. So mag-apply tayo ng 2 to 3 tons per hectare of well-decomposed chicken manure in order to contribute the 40 to 60 kilogram of NPK and micronutrients, at mag-apply tayo ng 3 bags of per hectare ng complete basal fertilizer and another 3 bags as side dress 30 days naman after planting. You can again apply also tea manure and FPJ, and this is how to prepare it. So again, irrigation is also constantly required for 2 after growing periods. So water them regularly para ma-enhance yung flowering and pod setting, while too much water can also cause root rot and too little water can result to flower and pod drop. So weed management is also very important. So you're going to pull out the weeds regularly from the start of planting to the 3rd week, no? You can heal up after 3 to 4 weeks to cover the side dress fertilizer, and at the same time, masuppress pa yung weed growth. So regular spot weeding lang, and minimum level of weed growth should be allowed along the alleys para ma-protect din yung soil, no, from erosion, and also some of the insects will go to the soil instead. And healing up is not necessary when meron kang plastic mulch. So for the pest and disease management naman, there are number like bean fly. So you have to spray with soap solution and or insecticides like permethrin, cypermethrin, and others. And aphids, again, hot pepper extract, and also cypermethrin, phenvalerate, deltamethrin, and others. For leaf hopper, you can use sacrificial crops like okra, no? Spray with soap solution or metallizing. And this is how to prepare the metallizing. You can mix sterilized palay and conidial suspension thoroughly and incubate the mixture for about 1 to 2 weeks. And then you are going to prepare conidial suspension for spraying by adding 200 ml of 0.05% soap solution and a mixture of 0.5 gram all-purpose detergent and 1 liter water. So to i-mix mo yan to each bag of the palay substrate. And you're going to place the 1000 ml of the conidial suspension in the spray tank and bring the water level to 16 liter. So for every 5 bags of 200 grams palay substrate, it can yield to 1 liter din na spore suspension. So you can spray this early in the morning around mga 6 to 8 a.m. or late in the afternoon around 4 to 6 p.m. para ma-avoid yung desiccation of the spores. For pod barrier naman, you can grow repellent crops such as basil, onion, and marigold. And you can also spray Bacillus thuringiensis or BT or nuclear polyhedrosis virus or NPV and against cypermethrin and other chemicals. And lastly, for leaf miner, you can have natural enemies like spiders, lacewings, and syrphid flies. So also mga chemicals like cyromazine or cartap hydrochloride and so on, and alternate them para ma-avoid yung development of pesticide resistance, or you can intercrop with leeks or lettuce, no? And maintain low weed population as much as possible along the alleyways to minimize pests. For the diseases naman, we have anthracnose, bacterial blight, bean rust, and fusarium root rot. So for anthracnose, you just use resistant varieties such as the B21 and remove sources of inoculum, no? Spray fungicide like mancozeb and others. So bacterial blight, you can also spray copper-based fungicides. For bean rust, you use resistant varieties such as Blue Lake, B21, and Taichung. And remove or burn the infected leaves kasi kakalat yan. And lastly, for the fusarium root rot, you use resistant varieties again, such as B21 and Taichung. And mas importante sa well-drained soil siya. And you can practice crop rotation with crops preferred in the market, no, para ma-avoid yung fusarium root rot. So the most recommended varieties that are resistant tolerant to anthracnose, bean rust, and fusarium rot especially are the B21, the Blue Lake, and the Taichung. And then you apply chemical sprays only when as a last resort. So you can use also in advanced preventive measures such as crop rotation and planting of pest repellent crops and trap crops and attractants of beneficial insects, and follow strict recommended spacing to allow good aeration, good air circulation between plants, and remove infected plant parts and roach severely infected plants. So apply also botanical pesticide preparation like the hot pepper and soap solution. So kailan na tayo mag-harvest? Usually, ang post-snap bean is only harvested after 60 to 70 days, no? So 2 to 3 months lang siya, no? Less days after planting. Depending din siya sa pod diameter and toughness na consumed by the market or preferable. So usually, handpick lang siya every 3 to 5 days for up to 10 times. So ganun kadami ka times yung kanyang pag-harvest. And it should be harvested early, no, like 55 to 60 days after planting or 2 weeks after flower opening. The appropriate pod thickness required by the markets. So usually or generally, snap beans is stringless, while pole snap bean is more fibrous. So harvest again early in the morning, 6 to 8 a.m. before the heat of the sun gets too intense para ma-avoid yung weight loss, no? Of course, kasi mainit. And pods should be well-formed, straight, bright in color, fresh in appearance, tender, firm, and crisp. So for post-harvest handling, you have to classify your harvested beans as marketable or non-marketable, no? They are graded, sorted according to size and quality. So if first grade pods siya, walang blemish, tender, straight, long, and right maturity. Second grade are short, minimal blemishes, distortion, and slightly over the picking stage. And unselected pods are considered non-marketable but can still be consumed naman. So yung storage condition natin would range from 5 to 7.5 degrees Celsius with 95 to 100% relative humidity. So paano ba natin i-pack yung ating snap beans? So sa bamboo basket na nakaline with available local materials such as newspaper or banana lids, or mga plastic sacks, polyethylene bags, or bayong for suitable for packing pads. So it can be transported not to distant market with minimal na weight loss when packed in thick line crates. And this is sold in local market with Manila as the main outlet, while wholesalers and retailers handle the distribution naman to smaller outlets in the provinces. So since the snapping is a orthodoxy, so the seed production is also very widely produced, no? It's self-pollinated, so you have to select plants that are vigorous and free of damage from pests and diseases. At 90 to 100 days from sowing, you can harvest na yung mga dry pods and you can extract the seeds. So if you notice, mas matagal i-harvest yung pangtanim ng mga seeds, of course, kasi dapat lalaya na yung pods, no? Sun-dry to around 10% moisture content. And determine the moisture content if it's acceptable. You can put some seeds inside a plastic bag and place under the sun. If my condensation after 23 minutes or more, depending on how intense the heat of the sun is, then i-continue lang to dry the seeds and pack dry seeds in moisture-proof containers and store in cool, dry place. And if properly stored, these seeds can remain viable for 2 years, no? Imagine. So there are actually a lot of high-tech na ng mga packaging, modified atmosphere packaging ngayon. So how much do we need or how much does it cost for labor? For a total of 40,000, sa materials naman 65,000 with 21% kung may interest, no? That's total to 116,000. With fixed costs, including land rental and others, it's 128,000 total cost niya, and gross income of pag regular season 160,000 but and off season 150,000, so mas maliit siya actually, no? And net income natin ay 31,000 sa regular season and off season 21,000 only. It's because of pag off season kasi medyo konti lang din yung yield. So that would be all for snap beans. Do you have any questions or clarification before we proceed with our presentation? No, video presentation, I mean. Wala. Okay. So, ikaw ba, Ruela, nakapagtanim ka na ng snap beans or string beans, pole beans?
Wala pa, ma'am.
Okay. Oh no, ang hina ng aking internet cafe. Yan. Hina siya. Wala ko ka-open kasi. Snap beans. So actually, may category siya, no? Pwede rin string beans production. Ito naman sa Baguio beans, sitaw planting. Okay, let's start with the agribusiness, no? Maganda ito.
My job is to make college easier because students have a lot on their
Sa pagtatanim po ng sitaw, karamihan po sa mga binhi po ng sitaw ay tinatawag po nating open-pollinated. Na kung saan po ito pong mga tinawag na open-pollinated, pwede po nating pagkuhaan po ng buto ulit para sa susunod po na pagtatanim. Pero hindi po sa lahat ng pagkakataon ay laging bibigyan tayo ng mas magandang ani. Mainam pa rin po na tayo ay bumili ng certified seeds ng sitaw. Ang pamamaraan po ng pagtatanim ng sitaw o bawat tudling, ang pagitan po ay 30 sentimetro ang pagitan ng bawat hukay. Maglagay po tayo ng isang buto kada isang hukay. Pwede po tayo maglaro sa 1 metro o 1.5 metro ang pagitan po ng bawat rows o linya. Kailangan po natin na magpare-parehas po ang pagtanggap ng mga nutrient o sustansya na nanggagaling sa lupa. Kailangan din po ang ventilation o yung pare-parehas na pagtanggap ng light o sinag na nanggagaling sa sikat ng araw para ang ibibigay niyang bunga ay pare-parehas. Sa pagdidilig, nire-recommenda po namin na tuwing ika-3 araw ang pagdidilig ng sitaw. Wala pong masyadong required na abono sa sitaw dahil nga ito yung tinatawag nating green fixing bacteria, yung tinatawag nating sariling pataba sa pamamagitan ng kanilang nodule. At ang pang-maintain lang po sa sitaw ay ang pag-spray ng mga foliar na nakakatulong na magpadami ng bunga. 2 linggo pamula itanim o pagkahulog ng buto sa lupa, kailangan po nating mag-establish po ng trellis o itong pagapangan ng mga sitaw. At meron po tayong tinatawag na mas madali po na tinatawag nating trellising net at available po ito sa Allied Botanical Corporation. Ang buhay po ng sitaw pamula pagkahulog sa lupa o pagkatanim, dahil ito ay direct seeding, direct planting, ay umaabot po ng hanggang 75 days. At binibigyan tayo ng hanggang 20 beses na tayo ay makapagpitas ng bunga. Pag-aani ng sitaw ay tuwing ika-2 araw. So every other day. Pagbuka ng bulaklak, hanggang ika-12 araw, yun po yung timing po ng pagpitas ng bunga ng sitaw. Kung ang bunga ay kasing liit na ng daliri ng bata, yun na po yung pwede nating palatandaan na pwede nang pitasin ang bunga po ng sitaw. Bago bumukol ang buto, best timing po na pamula po alas 6 ng umaga hanggang alas 9 ng umaga ang pinakang best time ng pagpitas ng bunga para maiwasan po natin yung matindi pong init o pagkalanta o para hindi maiwasan ang paglambot ng mga bunga po ng mga sitaw.
Okay, so that's for sitaw or string beans. So we also have ito, snap beans, no? Yan.
Whether you are planting your first vegetable garden or have years of experience behind you, growing snap beans should be at the top of your garden to-do list. Dependable and easy to care for, Snap beans are also among the most productive veggies you can grow. Snap beans mature quickly, too, and almost everyone, including kids, loves fresh snap beans. Are all snap beans alike? Not at all. Snap beans come in a huge range of sizes and colors, because any immature bean with pods that taste good when snapped into pieces is a snap bean. Snap beans vary in growth habit, too. Pole-type beans such as asparagus bean need a sturdy tall trellis to hold the plants. Bush-type beans such as blue lake need less upfront setup and are fast and easy to pick. They are good for spaces where you don't have the height for a bean trellis. Soil, planting, and care. Snap beans are easy to grow in any warm, well-drained soil, but they must have warmth. Wait until after your last frost has passed to set out the plants, then space them about 8 inches apart. A double row, in which 2 rows of plants are grown with 12 inches between the rows, will produce the most beans per square foot. For a steady harvest all summer, set out a second set of plants 3 to 4 weeks after your first planting. Before setting out the plants, mix a 3-inch layer of compost into the soil. When given a little starter fertilizer and biologically active compost, beans usually need no further feeding. By teaming up with bacteria in the soil, beans create their own nitrogen, the most important nutrient plants require if they are to make strong new growth. Keep beans weeded, and mulch over the spaces between plants to conserve moisture and reduce problems with weeds. Mulch also helps keep the pods clean, which is a terrific convenience with snap beans. Troubleshooting. New garden beds made in areas that were previously covered with grass often host a hidden danger for snap beans. Cutworms. These earth-colored caterpillars are active at night, and often kill seedlings by girdling their main stems, making them look like little felled trees. The easiest way to prevent cutworm damage is to encircle each plant with a rigid collar as soon as it is transplanted. To make cutworm collars, cut an 8 to 10 ounce plastic cup or similar size container into 3-inch tall rings. Pop them around the plants, making sure you push them into the soil about an inch deep. Another easy way to prevent cutworm damage is to use small strips of aluminum foil to sheath the base of each stem. After snap beans have been growing in your garden for a couple of weeks, their stems become so tough that cutworms can no longer damage them. Slugs and snails often make holes in bean leaves, and Japanese beetles like to eat leaves, too. Slugs are easily trapped in shallow containers filled with beer or a mixture of sugar, water and yeast. Or you can treat the area with a slug bait approved for food gardens in order to bring serious infestations under control. Products that use iron phosphate as their active ingredient are considered organic. Use row covers to protect plants from Japanese beetles. Snap bean pods that dangle to the ground can rot, but mulch helps prevent this. Harvest and storage. You may pick snap beans when they are very young and serve them as baby snap beans, or you can wait until they reach full size for a more bountiful harvest. Use 2 hands to pick, because heavily laden bean stems are easily broken. Don't yank on the pods. Hold the stem in one hand and pick with the other. Pick every other day when the beans begin bearing to make sure that they produce to their full potential. Healthy bush bean plants will often rebloom and produce a second, or third, flush of beans when growing conditions are especially good. Blanching and freezing is the easiest way to preserve a bumper crop of snap beans. Blanch them in boiling water for 1 minute and then quickly cool them in ice water. This process brightens and fixes their color while preserving the crisp texture of the pods.
Okay, so I guess that would be all for now. And also, yeah, that's for snap beans and string beans. So do you have any question, Ruela, or clarification regarding our topic?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so kung wala, I guess klaro naman lahat, no? And if you wanna try someday, no, you can always go back to your YouTube links and to this lesson. So kung wala na kay concern, then that would be all in the for this noon. So maybe you still don't have lunch, me too. So let's have a happy lunch break. Sige. Thank you and see you again next meeting. So I still have another session for this afternoon, no, mga around titingnan ko pa, no, kung maaabot ako ng 3 p.m. no, or later. So again, bye-bye and see you again next week. Ay,
Bye, ma'am.
next week na.